finish up. But if you don't feel comfortable handing somebody a Blitz card and saying, have you tried that crazy rap thing? Because a lot of guys don't. Get yourself some business cards, fellas. If you own a contracting company, you're a landscaper, you own a printing company, you would have business cards, okay? And it doesn't have to be, have you heard of that crazy rap thing? You ever heard of It Works? We got some amazing products. Contact information is right there. If you guys want to get in touch, I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee. You know, it can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be some crazy Chris Farley cartwheel dance, you know, here's a Blitz card type of thing. So keep it simple. I really appreciate you guys being up on stage. Some great info. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your time.
Only they knew how hot it was. Serious. Good job. Okay, so real quick before we move on, I sent out earlier, some of my girls over here that were even here early, a green notebook. Does everybody have that notebook? Or it's like a journal going around? Got it? Awesome. We're sending around a journal right now for love letters to Pam Souter. She's going to be here in 10 days, so we want to show her all of our love. So if you get a hold of that journal, write some messages and just make sure that gets back to me. If you guys could, whoever has it when we're done, get it right back to me. Also, just a quick pause. I wanted to shout out Laura Fruland. She just promoted to executive during lunch. Congratulations, Laura. Let's go for one. She's probably not she's like peeing right now or something. Okay. So up next, I've been sitting there racking my brain trying to tell you guys how I was going to introduce her. I heard her story a couple of times, and then I really heard her story on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not one to start crying. You guys know I love to make you cry. Making me cry is a little bit harder, but she definitely got under my skin and made those tear ducts start working because holy cow, what she's about to share with you guys is awesome. She's going to teach you how to share your story and tell you how important your story actually is. So will everybody please give a warm welcome to Sandy Dury. I was going to do that. I said I was going to do that. Are you okay? Heels the flats.
That's how you break the ice when you're nervous. But I was telling Sarah that I wrote them like 10 times in my head and I couldn't sleep all night last night because I kept rewriting them and I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this, so I'm just going to wing it because it's going to throw me anyways. My name is Sandy Dury. Ooh, do I get some? Why didn't you do that when I fell? I mean, come on, it would have been the appropriate time. My name is Sandy Dury. I have been with the company 3 years next week. My 3-year anniversary is next week. I am a mother of 2. I've got a 14-year-old stepson and a 16-year-old son who has his permit. I wanted to share with you guys my story, but I've got two different ways to tell you. I'm going to share my story the way I've been telling it the last 3 years. And the reason when Sarah talked to me about this, she's like, what are you good at? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I can tell my story. And my story has always been like this. I worked at State Farm for 5 years. I was an insurance lady. I loved my job. I had no intentions of ever quitting my job. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I just wanted to make $500 because we were always in debt and the bills were always being late. And then I found this crazy rap thing by Lisa Fuller, and I tried it, I loved it, and a year and a half later, I'm retired. That was my story. Not very and I would tell this story when I'd get up and talk to people, and when I was at a party, that's how I would share my story, and sometimes I wondered why people didn't understand how this company can change your life. And then when I was talking to Sarah, I said, you know what, God really does have a bigger plan for us. And how many of you went to conference this year? Wow, that's awesome. Okay, this was my 3rd conference, and I always leave with like oh, that was really good. You always you always hope that you leave with something. And this year was the first year that I really got rocked to my core. Do you guys remember the lady that got up there and she told a story and she did it like the third person? Okay, that was my moment. That was my moment when I realized I wasn't really sharing my story. Because so what? I was an insurance lady. How many of you, I mean, we've been talking about it all day. How many insurance ladies are there? I mean, there are a whole bunch of you. Okay, yeah. Who cares? You sit behind a desk, you write some insurance. Okay, you might change a few lives, but your story doesn't start where you were before you joined at Works. It starts years before. And that's where my story starts. You got no, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to start it. I come from a broken home. Mom was married 4 times. My real dad didn't want me. I was adopted by my stepdad. My stepdad's a drug addict who no longer is in my life. And all of that stuff could really like bring someone down, but I really feel like it made me stronger. And then when I was 17 years old, I was in a really bad car accident. Really bad, like life flighted to the hospital, ventilations. I should be dead today. I should not have made it. And when I was talking to Sarah, I said, I made it for a reason. I made it so that I could be here today. I made it when I was 17 because I had so many lives that were going to change. God wasn't ready to take me home yet. 4 months after my accident, I found out I was pregnant. So now I'm a teen mom. And I'm married and divorced by the time I'm 21. So now I'm a single mom who's 21, and I have nowhere to live. Because I moved back in with my parents. My parents got divorced. It was Mom's 3rd divorce. And I didn't know where I was going to live. So I kept bouncing around from apartments to my dad's house to my mom's house. I worked at a restaurant. I served others. I worked my tail off. I was a very young mother working my butt off to build a house for my son and I on a waitress income through government assistance. And this whole time I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to share my story with you guys, and I realized, but it's all of those things that I go through that makes me who I am today. It makes me very strong. It makes it so that I will understand the path that others are on, because where they're at today is not where they're going. And then I met my husband, who was going to be here today, but he had to work, because we haven't been able to retire him yet. I met him. And I still worked at Applebee's, and he looked at me and said, "Hon, you can do so much more than serve others and work these hours. You can do this." And he was the first person that ever believed in me. My mom doesn't care about what I do. She could care less about this business. She's told me never to talk about it. My sister could care less. And so my husband was the first person that believed in me and thought that I could do something better than working on my feet all day. So I get a job at a bank. I took a step up. I'm a college dropout. I tried it for 4 years and was still considered a freshman 4 years in. That kind of sucks. That really brings you down. But now I'm in a bank, 6 months in the banking industry, I promoted to a manager. And for me, that was kind of a big deal because I've never accomplished anything. I've never stuck to anything that I've ever set out to do. Other than my son. I had my son and I stuck with that. And being a teen mom, that's hard. Jody, you know that firsthand. It's really hard to do. Well then, my husband and I get married, and 2 weeks later, I'm fired. So now I have this I'm married, and I have a stepson and a son, and I'm fired, and I don't call my husband, I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Because I'm a college dropout. I never did anything. What am I supposed to do? So I get another job at the bank. I start at the bottom again. I'm a teller. And then this guy comes through the teller line and says, "You know what? I think you could do better than this." The second person in my life that's told me I could do better. And that was the State Farm agent that hired me right from the drive-through line. Everything I went through brought me to that moment at that little bank to meet the guy that I met where I was going to work. And it was in that moment when I was working at State Farm that I found that I became really good friends with this girl. And there was an event that she asked me to join. That event is where I met Lisa Fuller. Lisa changed my life forever. But if I hadn't gone through everything my entire life, I wouldn't have been put in those different situations. God knew where he was taking me before I even understood it. The nights I stayed in bed crying or at home, trying to figure out what am I going to do, how am I going to provide for my family, God already knew. And he said, just be patient. 3 years ago, I found it works. I tried that sticker to prove Lisa wrong, and she proved me wrong. 2 months in the business, I went diamond. 6 months in, I went double diamond. And then I went to the Atlanta boot camp. And when Mark got up there, I don't remember if you guys remember this, the Giants, the video he played about the crawling of the giant, I can't remember it now. I watched, Jody, do you know which one I'm talking about? The Giants? Facing the Giants, yes. Mark played that video and I just lost it. I broke down in tears and I went home the next day and told my husband, I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm not an insurance agent. I'm a crazy rap girl and I want to go full force with this, and all I need for you to do is say, do it. He said, babe, go to work, tell your boss you're done, and go full force. And I haven't looked back since. So I'd be retired 2 years in June. This is my 3-year anniversary. And I really believe that God meant me to be here so that I could share my story. And that's the story I share now. Not that I was an insurance agent and I did that for a couple years and then I quit and I'm a crazy rap girl. What I want you guys to do is think about your story, because your story is going to impact the people in your life. So don't cut yourself short, and don't you dare diminish what you've been through in your life, because it's where you've been that brought you to this room today. And you need to embrace that and don't hide from it, because I was always ashamed of the fact that I was a teen mom and I was married and divorced by the time I'm 21, and I'm 35 years old now, and I'm a stay-at-home mom to a 16-year-old son, and I love every second of it, but I had to go through all of that to get here. So if you don't know what your story is, it's okay, but really dig deep. It took me 3 years to figure out mine. So I want you guys to, if anything, walk away with the fact that your story is going to change lives, and if you haven't figured it out yet, sit down and really think about where you were and where you're at today, and embrace it and start sharing that. Don't hide it.
Everybody give it up for Sandy. She just rocked that. You know, it gives me goosebumps every time. Every time. I never imagined in a million years that 700 people would drive all this way to hear my story. Right? I told you guys before, I'm just a rap girl. I put a rap on somebody and it freaking worked, and now look at us. So this next panel, I'm really excited about it. I know you guys are too. We've got social media. So may I have Amy McTari, Genesis Boyd, and Kendra Schwartz to the front, please. Our new license plate was supposed to say, it worked, but it came out, I twerked. Hers is one twerks. That'd be a great conversation starter. So, yes, Josh's car, he needs to twerk. It's a veteran's plate too, so it's, it's great. So all of us wanted to get together and talk to you guys about social media. We know it's a huge important thing for your business. A lot of you are probably, your eyes were glazing over when Andy was talking about business pages and fan pages and all these pages and likes and pay for this and do that. There's a lot. Now I know, do you guys remember the presidential that stood up at conference and had never been on social media, ever? She built her entire business, the presidential, without social media. So for those of you who don't use social media, you don't have to. But it is a fantastic tool and it's gonna help you grow your business. My personal favorite is Facebook. I love my Facebook. I've been working on it for years and years. When I say working on it, I mean my network and just keeping those relationships up. What about you guys? What's your favorite?
I'll start. I love Facebook.
Some people might get annoyed by it. I hear a lot of negativity. People say it's really negative. Well, there's this really cool button on the right. You hit it and you can hide it. So if Facebook gets on your nerves, take it from us, Facebook made us millionaires. So it's an amazing, amazing way to be able to talk to people you haven't talked to in a long time. If you have a weird name out there or you're not public, I highly recommend changing that over. I'm literally just now signing people from my high school because people called me Jenny when I was in high school. And I was Jenny Coon, not Genesis Boyd. And then I pledged a sorority and they forced me to be called Genesis, these two hazers. But, it's a big deal because people don't know what you're doing. So I love Facebook.
Facebook all the way. I don't deal with a lot of Twitter. I didn't know what a tweet was until John Eric said, this is what a tweet is. I'm like, oh, okay. And Instagram, Ryan pretty much runs the Instagram. Once in a while I'll throw a picture up and stuff, but Facebook, and it's about those relationships. We'll get into that in just a minute. Mine's Facebook too, but my husband's a principal, and he kept telling me for the last, I don't know, a couple of years, because he has a Twitter account, and then I needed to get with the times, and so, but I didn't listen to him, and so I listened to John Eric, and so I was like, okay, and so now I'm on that, but I also am now falling more in love with Instagram, now that I know how to work it.
Mm-hmm. How many of you are taking the 100 days of social media? Nice! I'm happy to see that many hands, but let's double it before we finish this segment, because holy cow, it is awesome. If you thought you knew how to work Facebook, you didn't know anything until you started taking John Eric's training. And for those of you who weren't at Limelight and don't know who John Eric is, he's a new addition to the It Works team. Fantastic. The goofy looking guy who came walking out on stage, and I was like, okay, what's this guy all about? He blew me away. I was already adding him on Facebook before he even got down. So let's talk about how we use Facebook, because just posting a commercial or an advertisement or copying and pasting, I swear, I'm gonna rant for a second. If you copy my status, A, quote me, please, okay, that would be nice, or make it your own. Because there's nothing worse than when I come up, I sit there and I think and I come up with something really great, and then I post it and I see it go down my newsfeed because everybody else wanted to post it too. But, so Facebook, posting just this is the fat fighter and it's a thermogenic and it burns fat, is probably not going to get you new loyal customers. What would be the best way? What do you guys like to do when you're talking about products?
People want to see you using a product. They want to see how it's working for you. I mean, you can post until the cows come home of pictures of before and after pictures, but they're not going to really believe in it until they see you using it. So be creative, take a picture of you with your wrap on, take a picture of you drinking your greens or with your fat fighters out on your table, whatever. Have fun with it and be creative, because that's what people want. They want to see that.
And I think too, there are so many different businesses, and everybody is constantly being sold something, whether it's the radio in your car, on TV, and now on Facebook, we're getting all these sponsored posts, and just it's always in our face. And I think the one thing that sets us apart, the one thing that sets you apart is you. People join your team because they want to join with you, not the commercial that you're copying and pasting from your back office. They want to see how you feel about it, how the product worked for you, share those stories, get real, get personal, and like Sandy said, dig deep. Throw it out there. It's been my posts that are really emotional and thoughtfelt that bring a lot of people to the surface that message me and say, hey, what's this all about? So Genesis, what are some of your Facebook takes?
All right, so Sarah's not being a snoot and saying don't do what she does. We're here for you guys to copy. It's intimidating. You don't know what to write. You don't know what to say. You might not, know how to market. What you can do from all the leadership that you follow or anybody that you want is learn from them, but make it your own. Don't turn into someone else, because what a lot of people, including myself, I literally thought people were joining my business because of the sweet rap. And then I learned maybe 6 months ago, 80% of it is ourselves. And so when you're real with people, that's what's going to, trigger their heartstrings. A lot of parents might not
want to put their child on greens. So I'll have people that might put on my post, you're going to give your child greens, and I would be like, you're giving your child a Happy Meal? No hate on me, you know? So, and I will put that in my comments because that is me. I am passionate. I watched my best friend get her child on medications. I had my dad die from cancer from tons of medicines. I'm going to put out there what makes me tick, and then the right people are going to come into my business because I'm real. I've also noticed, I mean, we're really trying to figure out social media, but like when you're hashtagging it works and putting like a half-naked booty picture out there, there's a lot of women that don't want their men seeing it, so you're hidden, done, blocked. You know, they want to see you, and so it's just really, I always put myself in other people's shoes, and when I'm deciding on my post, I'm making it thoughtful, but I'm also making it so that it's gonna like trigger something in them to continue to watch.
Question? Yeah, okay. With Facebook, I do the same thing. You gotta make it personal. You gotta make it about you. Let people in and know about your family too, or if you're a crazy cat lady and you have cats. If you, whatever it is, let people know who you are. It's okay, and I think that goes a long ways too, and it's so funny because there's a lot of different things we're going to talk about, algorithms and things like that too, but I think it's really important, so when it is like people's birthdays, things like that, be thoughtful, go on their timeline and do things like that, because guess what? You are now showing up in their newsfeed. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but there's a lot behind the scenes of algorithms and different things that go on. And so be thoughtful. And one of the biggest ahas that I had was when John Eric said the 2020. You know, when you post on Facebook, am I taking away from something?
No, you're
sorry.
good. We all have our own too.
Shoot, I got theirs. Make sure that you're commenting, liking on 20 other posts before you post again. And that was just a big aha for me. And that was one thing that I had stepped up, because if I'm not liking and commenting on friends from high school, things like that, I'm not showing up on their newsfeed either. Maybe they don't see a picture of crew crawling or whatever it is. You know, it's about those things of being thoughtful and stuff. And then also what that's doing is it's showing compassion. And so the more real you are, the more you show people who you are, the more you're gonna, you know, get back in return. And do not be spammy, you guys. Quit posting a picture of thermal fit and then explaining the benefits of it. I will probably unfollow you, and guess what? So is your whole audience base, because nobody wants to see that. They would love to see a picture of you, like Amy taught us to do, with a picture of thermal fit in there, being like, what am I taking today? Guess what? Comment, 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 comment. Then it gives you an opportunity to explain what that is.
I love that, and I love the 2020 rule. It was something I had on my notes too, because that was a huge aha moment for me. I'm constantly engaging on Facebook and on Instagram. It's not just enough to post. Kendra had mentioned the algorithm a little bit. If you notice on your newsfeed, all the people that you're seeing, how many of you, when you came back from Limelight, it was like all It Works people on your newsfeed? The reason being is because Facebook notes who you're with, who you're tagging. So after this event, all you guys, we're only going to see each other. It notes all of that stuff, and it changes its algorithm and who it displays your stuff to based on your activity. So if you want to pop up in their newsfeed, you've got to be visiting their page, liking, commenting, posting. Because if you don't, you're not going to pop up. I know, Amy, you kind of wanted to expand a little bit. You have built a lot of your business on social media, and they just raved about you too. So what would be some pointers or some tips for everybody out there who just social media makes their eyes cross?
Oh gosh, so many different things, but you know, when I first started using Facebook, because that was when I got it, because I was definitely not with the times, but I always found a way to marry both, you know, my It Works and my personal. For every couple It Works post I put, it was a couple of my family or the kids or what we were doing, because, you know, I've always thought that people buy from who they like and who they trust and who they feel comfortable with. Maybe this is wrong, right, and different. I struggle with my personal, like a business page on Facebook. I had it, then I kind of like didn't do it, and then I have it back, but I still don't really use it. Like, I use my personal page because that's where people are going to really get to know me. And I want them to know I am very goofy, and I love to be silly. And you know, just the other day when I implemented John Eric's whole, like everything that he says to do, I've done, and everything he said that would happen has happened. And as cheesy it is, it was the funnest thing, and I will be doing one very soon, another video of me doing music, whatever. That thing had 3,000 views. I had so many comments from that, from people that I haven't even talked to and I don't even know how long. And it just opened up the door of so many different things. And the piece I got away from, I was so, focused on building my business that I was forgetting the thoughtfulness of going in and, congratulating somebody for whatever it is, or, being a part of their adventure. I stopped being a part of their adventure, and I think it hurt me a little bit. And John Eric's just reminded me that I need to go back to that. So since that, every day, in the morning, that's the first thing I do. I don't even make any comments about my business or my personal life. I go in and I start, I don't even care what it is. I'm saying something, oh, that's a cute, I love the new outfit, or whatever the case may be. And I have been having such in-depth conversations with people that I haven't in a very long time, and we're building that relationship. I don't need to go in for the kill, I need to build that, and I'm building it right now. So
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on Amy because she's unbelievable, and the biggest thing with her is you can feel what she's saying through what she's writing. I'm talking like 20 exclamation points. But that's exciting because then I'm like, ooh, she's serious on this one. But no, what really it is consistency. She has 4 kids, she has a husband that's a principal, we know she's busy, but she's consistent. You can't just post once, I'm now a networks distributor, and think everybody knows that you do this. They might not have seen that post that day. So I explain it in all of my trainings, this is how I do it. McDonald's still advertises, and we all know what chicken nuggets and double cheeseburgers is, right? But they still advertise because we're gonna get the mouth watering, we wanna go get a Big Mac. So that's the same way to think about your business. You are not going to get anybody on your team, loyals or distributors, unless you're constantly planting those seeds and plugging away. Like I said, 4.5 years in the business, and I just now have my high school friends coming around because I have in parentheses Jenny Coon.
Coon? Really? White is so much cooler. And so is Genesis. Good move on there, guys. You're welcome. I use my Facebook to try to engage people. I ask a lot of questions. If I need to go get my oil changed, I ask my friends where I should go. And I use one of them. And then I get there and I say, hey, Peggy sent me. You know Peggy? Oh, Sammy, yeah. Because referrals and networking is what we do. This isn't net wishing, it's networking. You've got to get out there and you've got to work. And one of the ways that I told you guys about blitzing and adding people to my Facebook, but I also stop by like little diners and stuff like that whenever we're there for lunch, and I pick up other people's business cards. And then I go to Facebook and I message them. And I say, hey Andy, I found your card at Panera. I see you're a networker too, or you do this or this. It's so nice to meet you. That's it. It's nice to meet you. Facebook is the only place where you can have friends that'll walk right past you on the street. I'm like, hey, we're on Facebook. Oh, okay. It really is. But if you use it to your advantage to build those relationships like we're telling you guys about, and it doesn't mean that you have to, stop being strategic is what John Eric had said, that really clicked home for me, because so many times I'm like, okay, 80-20, I already posted about business today, I gotta put up a cat picture, or, put up something funny. I try to push buttons to a certain extent just to get people hyped up, engaging. That stupid helium app that I use with the big eyes for creating you. Okay, first of all, I can't. Josh is so sick of it because I keep recording myself. I'm like in the bathroom, I'm like, hello, like making all these little videos. But I got so many people that have never popped up on my Facebook before that popped up through that, because so many other people were liking it and commenting on it that it was forcing it to the front of their news feeds so that their friends start to see it. So really creating that engagement is where it's all about. Do you guys want to expand a little bit more on how let's talk about some things that we should post and things that we shouldn't post. So should post.
I'll start with shouldn't.
I'm like,
I've hid some of my own distributors because I'm like lead with my heart. That's just kind of how I roll. Don't be condescending and rude. Because some people, this might not be for them yet. And when you're like, you stink because you're not joining my business, they are not going to sign with you. And it's been a reality for me because sometimes I'm shocked by my own team, what they're writing. And I know you have the best heart about it, but the ones that don't understand what we do, don't know our culture, don't know the integrity yet, they think that you're acting like you're better than them. And I've had it happen. And so I really think you have to make sure you're thinking about other people that are reading it, or that spouse that might be also a friend that is like, you are not joining those rude people. And then we're going into the negative bad ones, right? Like the naked stuff, they hide it. As sweet as that booby lift picture was, because it's pretty amazing, they're gonna hide you. So no one's gonna see it, except for it works distributors. So, I personally really push personal testimonials, so whether they're mine or they're my people that I've personally wrapped for my team members, or the compliant pictures that you get from corporate. Because the last thing you want happening is a picture floating around, you posted it, and the next thing you know, you're double diamond, and it wasn't even a true, legit testimonial.
it's happened. There's another company, even with a skincare. People were posting it as a network facial line, and it wasn't even our skincare line. So just be careful. Another don't, I think we've covered a lot of good things. Another don't, be positive, you guys. Nobody wants to hear about your bad day. I mean, if you're having a bad day, call your mom, call your friends, but don't put it on Facebook. Don't swear, don't be trashy. People will hide you from that too, and I will too. And I have people on my team, if they're negative Nellies, it affects me, it affects my heart, because I want this for so many people, and I give so many people my heart in this business as friends, and when I see that negative stuff, you're out. And so is everybody else. So stay positive, stay classy, and really just, be real. We keep beating a dead horse with this, but just be real. But just try to, you guys will probably get an inbox from us saying, hey, are you having an okay day? You might want to reconsider that post, things like that and stuff. And then just one thing to touch on the other social medias really quick, respect the platform. That was another aha for me, because I didn't understand the different platforms. I had everything all attached, so like when I would post on Instagram, it would automatically post on Facebook and Twitter. When John Eric said, do not do that, and the reason why is because, like, when you go on Twitter, Twitter's about your thoughts, and if you have a paragraph, it's going to have 4 words and then a website that you have to click on. Absolutely nobody's going to click on that little link there to read the rest of your thought or that post and things like that and stuff. And so Instagram's about your adventure, that's the fun stuff. Make sure, you're using the hashtags with that. And then, with Instagram, it's all about following people. You don't have to follow a bunch of It Works distributors, because that's what's going to follow in your feed, but you can follow maybe a gym. And when that gym gets comments, go through all those likes and start following all those people that like.